Okay, so I've solved the NBA's GOAT debate.
The problem is many of us don't realize which debate we're having. There are 5 different debates, and people rarely realize they're arguing 2 different things when they get into these arguments. But if these NBA legends are truly our idols, then it's a matter of respect that we debate this topic correctly.
So let's start with that word, idols. And since so many of you are debating this so backwards, let's start at the end with S.
Skill set. Who has the best shot, handles, dunks, speed, footwork, etc. This one is Kobe Bryant, followed by Michael Jordan, Kyrie Irving, KD. One might think this to be the most fair, but it doesn't take into account that current players learn from past players, and that skill overall has slowly evolved. In any case, I don't think many would argue that Kobe had better handles and a better outside shot than Michael Jordan. Grit, leadership, and whatever else are all mentioned later. The next one is legacy. Who's had the most impact? This one is Michael Jordan, hands down. This factors in stats, public opinion, happenstance, commercials, movies, mythos, endorsements, the brainwashing of great marketing campaigns, and so much more. Here's where Bob Cousy is better than James Harden, even though we know Harden would scorch Bob on any given night. Legacy also takes time to create, and too many factors are involved to even begin to figure out the zeitgeist of the moment. This is why no baseball player will ever top Babe Ruth's fat ass. So what does LeBron need to do to top Jordan here? Maybe a few more championships? Maybe better reviews for Space Jam 2? And maybe a time machine to not take his talents to South Beach. Kareem dominating at the high school, college, and NBA levels also deserves a huge shout out here. And here's where Magic and Bird saving the NBA comes into play. Kobe's untimely death actually increases his legacy score. Allen Iverson is even on this list due to his cultural influence. It's a strange factor, but one that most actually go by when they debate these things. The next one is one-on-one. Who would win in a game to 7? This one is LeBron, Shaq, KD, Jordan, Kobe. For this category, one must realize it's more impossible for Jordan to guard Shaq than it is for Shaq to guard Jordan. But Shaq would also struggle to dribble from the arc to the post. So choosing a player who has both qualities like LeBron is a fair pick. Basketball, of course, isn't played one-on-one, although it is a huge part of the game and a fun topic of discussion. This is the category that gets people so confused with the LeBron-Jordan debate. Yes, a bigger player with so much skill would probably win one-on-one, but this is just one category. The next one is dominance. Who absolutely murdered their competition? Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, Kareem. Here's where you give George Mikan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Steph Curry their props for dismantling the status quo during their day or within a given facet. But since wins matter the most, you're really only left with one person, and that's Bill Russell. Or maybe Robert Ory.
Interdimensional. Okay, this one's weird, but I hear it a lot, and it's a fair enough point to count it as a facet of discussion.
Pondering who'd be the best if every player in their prime got into a time machine to meet up today would be horribly unfair to past players.
So the real question becomes, if every player grew up to be in their prime today, who would be the best?
Wilt Chamberlain is the answer. Old heads love to say it's merely hypothetical to not factor in better training methods when comparing players from different eras. But I think it's also extremely hypothetical to not also factor in distractions like video games and social media. So assuming their grit and heart and stats survived the trip to this alternate universe, you've got to go with whatever the beast would look like who could average the points and boards and assists that Wilt Chamberlain averaged. assuming he could also survive the increase in STDs in the world today. This category is also where Jesse Owens' 10.2 second 100 meter dash time is more comparable to Usain Bolt's 9.58 second time than it is to the dozens of current high school kids who can now run the 100 meter dash in 10.2 seconds.
So which facets matter the most? In my opinion, the order should go skill, legacy, dominance, interdimensional, then one-on-one. But that's just my opinion. Who's the overall GOAT, though?
The guy that appeared within the top bunch of every facet, of course. Michael Jordan. He might only be first place for the legacy one, but he's at least top 3 on every other list, which only heightens his legacy score.
I'd love to know what you think, but what I really want is to change the way that you think and to change the way that you debate this topic.
So right off the bat, before you get into it with anyone over this subject, you should state which of these 5 facets matter the most to you, and then go from there. This way, I heavily doubt you'll have many arguments against your point, and I bet the argument will quickly shift away from which players are the greatest and toward which of these 5 facets should matter the most. I then predict these heated debates will eventually turn into very civil discussions. And in my opinion, this is how we can best respect our idols.